Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
Never Again by Katakurii. Luffy loses his nakama and gets another chance. He gets sent back in time and gives his powers and knowledge to his younger self. Will he be able to save his nakama? I don't own anything. Adios.
Chapter 11. The greatest warriors in the world. The Straw Hats arrived in Little Garden after a long journey. The prehistoric island was a green jungle with multiple volcanoes and two mountain-like structures, which were really skulls of sea kings. Dinosaurs and other big and intimidating carnivores inhabited this island, as well as deadly viruses. There was a river in one end of the island, where they would dock. Screech! An overgrown bird came flying at the Straw Hats, scaring the weaklings. Nami and Usopp flinched and covered their ears. Sanji found one of them cute. Oh, how sweet. Usopp turned around with big, cute eyes. Do you mean me? He naively asked. Of course not, idiot, the arrow cook shouted with sharp teeth, annoyed. The bird of earlier turned around in a small curve, trying to elsewhere. The glutton Luffy was hungry and wouldn't have allowed meat to escape anyway, so he caught the bird and killed it. Gomu Gomu no propeller, he exclaimed, slamming the dead bird on the deck of Mary. Sanji, I want meat. Sanji frowned at this. Luffy, you just ate like minutes ago. I can't cook 24/7. He berated his captain, who looked at him with sad eyes. Please, the cook sighed. No Luffy, no more food for you until we leave. Our supplies are about to deplete, we need to restock. Luffy looked at Sanji as if the latter was mentally challenged. We can still eat emergency supply, you know, he said, pointing at Karoo. Vivi's pet realized he was meant, and hid behind his owner. Vivi herself wasn't pleased at all with the duck's nickname. You will not eat Karoo, she yelled with sharp teeth, hitting the 17-year-old and subsequently giving him a bump. Sorry Vivi, he then recovered and started giving orders. Alright, if we don't have anything to eat, then we have to get some food. Zoro, Sanji, hunt some food for us, we need to restock. Everyone else, do whatever you want, I'm going on an adventure. A loud rumble erupted somewhere in the tropical island, presumably an active volcano. The others wondered how their captain could go on an adventure on such a deadly hellhole. Luffy, Nami spoke up with a slightly scared voice. How can you go on an adventure right now? Don't you see that this place is deadly beyond imagination? What if a dinosaur attacks you? What if you get bitten by a deadly insect? Her being scared could be reasoned with the hungry tiger standing meters away from her on the edge of the river and the ground. Not only that, the beast also glared at the ginger with his yellow, golden eyes and licked the area around his mouth, further expressing his desire of eating the human. You know what? Luffy began, knocking dust off his golden shoulder pads. That's not going to happen. The young pirate's eyes looked like he was using King's Haki, strong and willing. Like the predator hunting his prey. Coincidentally, he punched the wildcat with his arm, using Gomu Gomu no pistol, knocking it out. Suddenly, the Alabastan felt safety around the black-haired. Somehow, she thought it would be safe around the black-haired. I don't know why, but I want to go with him, I think he could protect me. She thought, her mind made up. Luffy-san, can Karoo and I join your adventure? The princess asked, shocking the others. What? Most Straw Hats exclaimed, their jaws down, wondering how she could have such a weird idea. Vivi, you asked us to protect you, yet you want to go with our captain who attracts all kinds of danger, her female friend asked, not believing what she just said. Yeah, stay with me Vivi-chan, Sanji said, further making the people around him believe he's immature. No, the blue-haired shyly yet determinedly declared, sweating a little combined with a stern look. I feel safety around Luffy. I don't think he'd endanger me. I somehow get the impression he knows what he's doing. Besides, it has been a long time since the last time I had fun. The black-haired smiled brightly. Thank you for deciding to come with me. I will appreciate your company. He spoke, reaching out his arm for Vivi to come with him. She blushed a little, holding his hand to go. The blonde cook on the other hand, was fuming out of jealousy. Despite this he refused to kick in his captain's face. Damn Straw Hat. He cursed, almost unbearable. Running off with Vivi and Karoo, Luffy shouted some last things to his meat provider and swordsman. Zoro, Sanji, I want some meat when we set sail, so better get going. Zoro nodded, while Sanji cursed another thing after him. Sometimes, the captain really pissed off the smoker. The green-haired walked off the ship. I'm going to hunt the biggest moving thing for Luffy, he stated as he stepped on the grass of Little Garden. You cook for him, curly brows. A tick mark formed on Sanji's forehead after hearing this. He saw this as a degradation and felt obligated to challenge his friendly rival. What did you just say, Marimo? I will be the one who hunts the bigger animal, not you. Zoro turned around, not taking the cook's challenge seriously. You wish? You're only the cook, not a real fighter like me. He snickered, not realizing he's seriously mocking the blonde. A real fighter, don't make me laugh. You're nothing without your swords. You can't fight with your own body. The fighting cook erupted, raising the sound of his voice. Alright, I'll show you I can hunt the bigger animal without my swords. You'll see, shitty cook. The swordsman furiously declared, tensing his muscles. Challenge accepted. The two ran into different directions, going for the biggest eatable thing they could possibly find, leaving Usopp and Nami behind. Those two didn't know what they should do. How about we hide inside? The navigator asked, not wanting to experience the possible dangers of Little Garden. Well, I want to go back inside too, but this place seems interesting, so I might go out for a walk not far from here. The sniper said, a little braver than his nakama. Are you crazy? The ginger exclaimed, staring at him in disbelief. The black-haired frowned. You can stay here if you want, I'll return soon, he spoke, heading for the exit. Nami waited a bit. She thought the darker-skinned boy was crazy, for leaving the safety of Mary regarding his power level. He was not strong enough to face the dangers of this crazy jungle. As the sharpshooter went away further and further into the evergreen forest, the orange-haired decided to run after him. Wait, don't leave me alone. Luffy and Vivi ran through the jungle along with Karoo. The princess loved this island, since she'd never seen such beautiful flowers and trees. Everything was wonderful for her, until she saw dinosaurs. Although these dinosaurs were plant eaters, they scared the heck out of her, due to their massive size. She couldn't understand how Luffy was swinging around their long necks and sliding down them all the way down from their heads, considering a fall from up there would be deadly for a normal human. Vivi, come up here, this is fun, the 17-year-old joyfully yelled, sliding down the neck of the largest sauropod. Like hell I will. The girl yelled back with shark teeth. Stop this nonsense, let's go somewhere else. Luffy sighed. Fine, if you want. The duo and the duck entered deeper into the rainforest, seeing some more big animals and plants, but two of the tree didn't expect meeting one of the biggest creatures in the world, a giant. The giant was more than 39 foot tall and had an extremely long beard, which was colored brown, just like his hair. On top of his hair, he wore a golden helmet. His clothing consisted of a blue cape, green trousers, dark brown boots and a brown belt-like piece of protection with metal plates around his belly. His overall build was muscular. Vivi wanted to scream, she wanted to run away, but she froze, her knees were shaking and she couldn't run. The royal thought running away from him, the giant, would be an insult to him, and she didn't want to insult him, since the Alabastan was scared of the time. The giant walked over to their spot and kindly greeted them. Gya. Hello there humans, I am Dory, the mightiest warrior of Elbaf. Luffy beamed at the 39-foot man. Cool, the mightiest warrior of Elbaf, and I am Monkey D. Luffy, a pirate, he exclaimed, greatly admiring giants. Gya. I've been a pirate too, but now I'm living on this island for 100 years, can you imagine that? There's another giant named Brogy on this island. We've been battling on this island for 100 years. The ex-pirate said, sitting down. The Bluenet didn't know what to say about this. Battling for 100 years? For what purpose? She thought, trying to find a reasonable explanation for this. Dory stood up again. Are you hungry? We can continue talking after eating some good stuff, the giant asked, inviting the three. Yes, I am so hungry I could eat this island, the human boy exclaimed, drooling a little. Gya, then come with me, I take you to my place. At Dory's place, Luffy and said giant consumed multiple dinosaurs of different type. Vivi and Karoo only ate smaller pieces. The latter two also introduced themselves to Dory. I have a question, how can you two battle for 100 years, and why did you battle in the first place? The female questioned, not believing she'd get a reasonable answer. We giants can battle for 100 years since we lived 3 times longer than humans. He answered, 100 years ago, Brogy and I had an argument, so we decided to finish it with a duel. There's a rule in Elbaf, where we came from. If a giant duels another giant, they have to leave Elbaf and fight a battle to the death. Only one can return, the other one dies. That was the reason we're fighting a battle to the death until now, but after all these years, I forgot what the original reason was. Suddenly, another volcano of Little Garden erupted, for Dory to stand up. This is our signal to fight, I must leave now, he informed, grabbing his sword and shield. Good luck, the teen shouted supportively after him. Gya, thanks. After the giant had left the humans behind, the princess noticed that her pet was missing, Karoo. She ran into the forest to find her super spot-built duck, Karoo. 30 minutes ago, the Baroque agent Mr. 3, also known as Galdino, invited his fellow agents Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine into his wax house created by his Doru powers. They had to carry out a mission and didn't want to fail. Thank you for coming by, I have orders from Mr. 0. Capture Princess Vivi and eliminate the Straw Hats, Mr. 3 said, drinking his tea. Miss Valentine raised her left brow. Do you think that's easy? She spoke. We struggled greatly against them in Whiskey Peak, how are we supposed to eliminate them? You better have a good plan on how we accomplish our mission. 3. Mr. 5 said, calmly as always. Please, I always have a good plan. Galdino stated, boasting about his good plans. You two separate Princess Vivi from the Straw Hats by kidnapping her duck. She will choose to come with you in exchange of that thing, trust me. Meanwhile, I'll try to separate the Straw Hats one by one, catching them off guard, understand? The Mr. 5 pair nodded. Understand. 15 minutes ago, Zoro was walking through the woods to find a bigger target. He had slain a big tiger, but that wasn't enough. After some more walking, the swordsman encountered a rhinoceros. I promised that shitty cook not to use my swords. What should I do? He thought. The gray mammal started to run at the green-haired, who figured out what to use, Tekai. Tekai depended on physical strength, and since the green-haired already had immense muscle power, the rhino collapsed upon impact, breaking his horn. Well, that was easy, he muttered, pulling the animal behind him. At the same time, Sanji was hunting too. He left his previously defeated boar behind him. A tyrannosaur got in his way while running. The reptile subsequently opened his mouth, making his fangs visible. Sanji knew the dinosaur would try to eat him, so he had to take action. Tekai, Poitrain. Normally, a person can't move while using Tekai, but if the user is a martial arts master or a special fighter, he can move, despite the heart and body. For this reason, the fighting cook was able to kill the carnivore with only one kick. Seems like I've already won. I'd like to see what Marimo has to offer, the blonde said, lighting up a cigarette. Usopp and Nami weren't as lucky as the others. Due to their missing strength, the two were forced to run away from a tiger, and later forced to run away with the tiger from a raptor. Ah! Somebody save us, both of them screamed, running for their lives. They heard a roar and the sound of a cut. The two turned around to see what happened, and they were really shocked with what they saw. A giant with a Viking look saved them by dropping his gigantic axe on the dinosaur, cutting it in half. None of them could explain the sight of a giant warrior, and because of their cowardly nature, the navigator and the sniper fainted. 10 minutes ago, Usopp's head pounded. A deep, blurry voice got into his ears. Wake up, wake up. He opened his eyes, groaning. What he saw was the same giant from before. Is this a dream? The long-nosed muttered, closing his eyes again. No, it's not a dream. The sharpshooter opened his eyes again, realizing the giant is real and he's not dreaming. Don't worry, human, I will not harm you. He reassured him. My name is Brogy, I am Elbaf's greatest warrior. Hearing the friendly Viking's words, Usopp began losing his fear of giants. I am happy to hear that, Brogy-san, he said. I'm Captain Usopp. Brogy pulled out a piece of dinosaur meat from the fire he had set, offering the human some of his meat. I love this kind of meat, you should try it. Water filled Usopp's mouth. Thanks a lot, Brogy-san. At the same time, Nami started waking up. The delightful scent of dinosaur meat as well the warming heat of fire made her feel comfortable enough to wake up. Then she remembered the giant and wanted to scream, but her nakama put his hand on her mouth and reassured her. No need to freak out, Nami, he's a good guy. Nami, in contrary to Usopp, ceased to see Brogy as a threat, but she still wanted to go away. Excuse me, how long does a log pose need to recharge here? Brogy said, placing his hand on his chin as a thinking pose. A log pose needs 1 year to recharge on this island. Unluckily for you, no human has ever endured so long on this island. The navigator looked around. She saw half a dozen human skeletons. What did I get myself into? She weeped, laying down again. While she was complaining about how she would die, Usopp and Brogy had pretty much the same conversation as Luffy and Dory. A few minutes later, the same volcano erupted, telling the warrior to battle his friend. The black-haired, who befriended the giant and admired Elbaf and its people, decided to wait for his new friend to come back. The orange-haired, on the other hand, decided to go back to Mary where she would be safe. After some time of walking, the ginger and the mosshead met on their way back to Mary. The girl noticed the rhino and complimented her nakama on it. Hey, you did a good catch there. Zoro shrugged. I've had more difficult things to deal with in the past, he stated, thinking of Mihawk. What have you and Longnose been doing while we were gone? The green-haired wondered why he didn't get an answer after 5 seconds. He looked behind him because the ginger was walking there, and to his shock, she disappeared. Nami? The swordsman called, suddenly concerned about her well-being. Nami? Nami, answer me? He saw what he thought was Nami a couple of trees away and was confused. Nami, if you think this is funny, I can tell you it's not. And how did you get there in the first place? She then disappeared, making him run to her former spot. They continued like that, until Zoro was completely exhausted. Owing this, Nami? In a split second he realized he couldn't move anymore. The obstacle hindering him from moving felt like wax to him. Damn it, why can't I move? He thought, desperately trying to free himself. Ha 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 ha. A male voice laughed from behind. What you saw was a wax figure created by my powers. You probably guessed it already, but let me confirm it for you. The reason why you can't move is frozen wax. I ate the Doru Doru no mi. I'm a candle human, and you are coming with me. You bastard. The green-haired spat. You won't get away with this. Meanwhile, the Alabastan princess Vivi ran through the jungle to find her super spot-built duck Kuru. He has been her best friend since her childhood friend has been separated from her years ago. Kuru, where are you? She shouted, constantly turning her head left and right. To her surprise, two familiar figures confronted her, holding her beloved pet hostage. Why hello there, princess, we've been looking for you. Mr. Five spoke. Leave Kuru alone, Baroque works, she yelled, her face turning into a shade of red. Kai ah ha 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 ha. If you come with us, we'll let your stupid bird free. If you don't, we'll have dinner with him. Your choice. Miss Valentine declared, hitting the blue-haired's weak spot. Vivi growled in defeat. Fine, I'll go with you, but free Kuru first. Mr. Five chuckled. There you have it, he said, untying Kuru. Now get the hell out of here. The duck ran. He ran as fast as he could. He needed Luffy to help him. He needed Luffy to help Vivi. After another tie with Brogy, Dory returned to his place where Luffy was waiting for him. Did you win? The boy asked, sitting on a white mountain-like structure. Unfortunately, no, the 73.470th tie. He groaned, stepping over to the human. He, the giant, then noticed a barrel of sake on the ground. Oi, human, did you put that barrel of sake on there for me? How nice of you. Luffy's eyes opened wide up. Oh no, that's the foul sake Mr. 3 put there. If Dory drinks that, it'll explode inside of him. He thought, wanting to make sure this incident doesn't happen again. No, I didn't put that barrel of sake in there, and I wouldn't drink that. The pirate captain warned him. Why not, it looks fine to me, the giant said, picking up the barrel. I said no. The 17-year-old spoke up, making the bearded man stop moving the barrel towards his mouth. The giant got annoyed with this. Care to explain why? He demanded, seriously annoyed. There are people from an evil organization called Baroque Works here on this island. They wanted to weaken you with this barrel of foul sake, intending to make you die in your next duel, then killing your friend yourself. I'm sure they are behind your bounties, the black-haired explained, straight up angering the warrior. Whaat, they wanted to kill me? He roared, greatly infuriated. How dare they try to ruin a sacred duel? He calmed down afterwards, turning to the Straw Hat again. Hate to ask you, my friend, but could you? Yes, Luffy anticipated. I can make sure nobody interrupts your sacred duel. With that, a volcano erupted again. Dory carried Luffy on his shoulders to Brogy, who was waiting for him somewhere in the middle of the island. Gababababa. Dory, why did you bring a human with you, to watch us? He asked, laughing. The other giant's face was serious. Yes, Brogy, he is here to watch us. There are some evil people on this island who are after our bounties, going as far as trying to ruin our sacred duel. How dare they? Brogy erupted, his attitude changing in a flash. I would like to go and squash them, but we must fight, my friend. Gababababa. After finishing his sentence, Brogy attacked with his giant battle axe. Dory stopped the axe with his shield, then slashing his sword at Brogy, only for him to block it too. Luffy activated his observation haki and sensed allied and enemy auras in close proximity. He left the battlefield of the giants to see what is happening on the island. The first aura Luffy reached was Kuru. Kwaa, Kwa. The running bird screamed, trying to tell something to the pirate. Let me guess, Vivi was kidnapped. Kuru nodded with a sad face. Okay. The black-haired spoke, climbing on the duck to ride him. Let's find Vivi. Some minutes later, Luffy and Kuru found Usopp, who was sitting on a log next to a campfire. Usopp, the 17-year-old called, getting his sniper's attention. What is it, Luffy? Vivi has been kidnapped. We got to help her, he informed, grabbing some of the leftover meat to eat it. Get on. Willing to help his temporary nakama, Usopp climbed atop the super spot-built duck, who gasped for air due to the heavy load he's carrying. On the other half of the island, there was a birthday cake made out of wax. The main part of the cake was at the bottom, a huge thick pillar in the middle, and at the top a spinning part with candles on it. 3 people were standing on the main cake. A green-haired swordsman making a cool pose and 2 girls with blue and orange hair screaming at him for his unnecessary stupidity. The longer the part on top of the pillar with candles was spinning, the more wax would encode them. And if the 3 would be encoded entirely with wax, they would die. Beside the cake, 4 Baroque agents watched their victims slowly being encoded by wax. The main perpetrator was Mr. 3, or Galdino, an Asian-looking man with a blue and white outfit and 3-shaped hair with fire burning atop. His partner was a little girl called Miss Goldenweek, who wore a short blue cloud-patterned shirt and a pink hat. Her hair was braided into 2 pigtails and red. The Mr. 3 pair was accompanied by the already known Mr. 5 pair. How do you like it up there? Mr. 3 teased, making the pirates upset. You continue mocking us, we will find a way out of here and then you'll pay, Zoro said, looking at the tea lover. This man chuckled, a bit annoyed. If you can't move now, Then why should you be able to move later, when the wax is getting even harder? Your death kicks in 60 minutes. You have no chance to escape. He then started laughing, trying to sound like an evil villain. I doubt that. A young but serious male voice spoke from behind. Everybody's attention turned to a boy in a red captain's coat stepping down from an exhausted running duck. TCH, what do you want here, Captain Boy? 3 asked in a rude manner. The straw hat crackled his fingers. I'm here to kick your ass, Mr. 3, he declared, showing everybody his trademark smile. Mr. 3 clenched his teeth. Mr. 5, Miss Valentine, I want you to take care of Straw Hat. I don't want him interfering in my business. Understand? He ordered, not wanting the 17-year-old to interfere in his business. Luffy focused again. Alright, this is our chance to defeat them. Usopp, you run and distract Booger Man and Lemon. Karoo, you go and distract that girl there. Understand? Meanwhile, I'm going to kick Candle Guy's ass. The black-haired spoke, explaining his plan. Usopp and Karoo nodded. Here I am. Catch me if you can. Baroque works, the darker-skinned boy yelled, addressing Mr. 5 and his partner. Said Baroque agents looked at each other, nodding. Come here kid, we're going to teach you a lesson. The male Baroque agent said, running after the sniper. Ah, don't kill me, the cowardly liar screamed, running for his life. At the same time, Karoo was running at Miss Goldenweek, who apparently was scared of big running ducks. KWAAA, Kwa. GYAAAAH, get away from me, she almost shrieked, secretly wishing to go home to her mommy. Seeing how the Straw Hat tried to ruin his great plan, Galdino started to lose his temper. I've had enough of you, brat. You will not get in my way any further, he declared, forming a wax harpoon in his hands. Doru Doru Arts. Mori. The wax harpoon was almost hit Luffy until he did something against it. Tekai. 3 looked at the pirate in disbelief. His harpoon shattered upon impact. How did you do that? My L, this shouldn't be possible. The tea drinker asked, pointing at his current foe. Hearing this, Luffy smirked, taking it as a compliment. There's only one problem. My body is harder than steel. Wah wah whaa. Impossible, Mr. 3 yelled, pressing his hands against his head. Nothing is impossible, buddy. Gomu Gomu no Gatling, the teenager exclaimed, destroying the wax cake with his rapid fists, thus freeing his nakama. Immediately after being freed, Nami and Vivi ran towards Luffy to hug him. Thank you for saving us, we thought we'd die, they cried, expecting their captain to console them. Zoro only stood by his captain's side, his arms crossed. Thanks Luffy, you saved my life. Luffy only laughed. She, I wouldn't let any of you die. Unlike Luffy, Galdino had no reason to laugh. Instead of laughing, he was fuming. You? He shouted at the 17-year-old. I'm going to kill you for ruining my plan. I am so angry I could burn from it, but that would make me melt. I wouldn't want that, so I'll cool down, but I'm still going to kill you. Mr. 3 was talking a lot of nonsense, formally said. Luffy mentally facepalmed listening to Buggy's future crewmate talking bullshit. Right now, the Candle Human was forming a massive battlesuit for him out of wax. Candle Champion. Hey, this looks so much less cool than Frankie Shogun. The Straw Hat thought, remembering the cool battle robot of his future shipwright. What's with this nonsense? You already saw me breaking your wax. Why are you trying with a battle suit made out of wax? The black-haired asked, not affecting 3's determination. Champ fight. Oraga Hitaki. Galdino swung his wax-enhanced arm at the young captain, who retaliated with Gomu Gomu no pistol. The Candle Human was then sent flying. His nakama wanted to congratulate him, but the fight wasn't over. Usopp came running from the woods, trying to shake off his pursuers. The bomb human loaded his pistol, with his breath, aiming at the sniper. Ah, don't shoot, the sharpshooter screamed, running faster than before. This isn't a normal pistol, it's a special model from the South Blue. It shoots the air I exhaled into the chambers. Since I'm a bomb human, I can literally explode every part of my body, including my breath. Now hold still so that I can shoot you. The dark-skinned man explained, shooting 3 rounds, but missing Usopp completely. Usopp, shoot back, you can do this, Luffy called, encouraging his marksman to beat his foe. He tells me to shoot back. I don't know if I could hit him. Of course I can hit him. I'm the great Captain Usopp after all. I can hit small targets with my eyes closed. This shouldn't be a challenge for me. The curly long black-haired boy pulled out a pellet of his pocket. He placed it on his slingshot, Ginga Pachinko, and aimed it backwards at the person chasing him without looking. Kyaku Boshi. Coincidentally, the explosive gunpowder pellet hit Mr. 5's head as if the Straw Hat pirate aimed for it. Due to his devil fruit, he exploded, knocking out Miss Valentine, who was close to him, with him. Everybody except Luffy glared at the proud sniper in disbelief, dropping their jaws. This also included Karoo, who returned after defeating Miss Goldenweek. Usopp was proud of his victory, but he was more interested in this hockey thing, he called. Luffy, Did I awaken this hockey thing? He asked, curious about his abilities. Luffy checked. Unfortunately, no, this was only your natural-born gift for sharpshooting. But if you train more, you will awaken your observation hockey, believe me. The pirate captain answered, disappointing the sniper and giving him new hopes at the same time. Understand, Captain Luffy, I will train much more. I will train as much as I can until I become the world's best sharpshooter. The other 17-year-old promised, holding his thumb up high. Out of nowhere, Sanji joined the group. Nami Swan, Vivi Schwan, I'm Buck. He raved, his body moving like a genie's lower part after being summoned from his lamp. What the hell did I miss, shitheads? He rudely asked after turning to the males. Zoro had gotten angry. Once again, the arrow cook missed everything and wasn't there when he was needed. The swordsman needed to let out his anger. Where the fuck were you this time, shitty cook? Nami, Vivi and I almost died and you were doing God knows what somewhere in the woods. Honestly, if I was the captain I'd fire you from being absent during battles and not coming to help your nakama, you useless shit. Despite the insults, the leg fighter decided to stay calm. He pushed up one eyebrow. What if I told you I'm a real savior? Bullshit, the green-haired tried to say, but the blonde interrupted him by holding up an eternal pose to Alabasta. This is an eternal pose I obtained not long ago, it leads us directly to Alabasta. Everyone's eyes widened and jaws dropped, except Luffy's. How were you able to get an eternal pose? The ginger and the brunette exclaimed in a unison. Sanji puffed out a heart-shaped cloud of smoke. I'll explain it to you, my beloved ones, he raved uncontrollably. 30 minutes ago, the fighting cook walked through the evergreen forest, trying to get back to Mary, but instead of a ship, he found a house entirely made out of wax. Hello, anybody inside? After getting no answer, he decided to step in. He found a table, a box and a den mushi. Suddenly, the den mushi started to rain. Baribarabiri clank. Restaurant Barati. How can I help you? The Vinsmoke joked after answering the call. Quit it with the jokes. A deep voice spoke up in an annoyed tone. Mr. 3, is that you? Yes, I'm Mr. 3. Sanji lied. Who are you? I said quit it with the jokes, the male barked, now a little furious. You know that I'm Mr. 0. I'm calling from Alabasta. Oh really? So why did you call me? The male speaking with the cook side. I've gotten some information about a pirate crew protecting Princess Vivi. We've identified 3 members by now. The swordsman Roronoa Zoro, the captain monkey D Luffy and an orange-haired girl. The crew should currently be on Little Garden, where you are. I want you to eliminate them, he said, sounding serious. Ah, those guys, well, the blonde tried to speak, but he didn't find a logical thing to say. You've what? Already killed them, he lied. Very good. You can now open the box I've sent you, Mr. 0 said. Sanji opened the box. He found a log pose-like thing with Alabasta engraved in it. It's an eternal pose to Alabasta. The man informed the guy he thought was Mr. 3. Come back with Princess Vivi right now, I have further orders for you. Suddenly, 2 animals landed on the windowsill, a brown otter wearing a white-purple dotted jumpsuit and a black vulture with an aviator cap and black goggles. They had an hostile appearance. Sir, Mr. 0, 2 animals appeared, an otter and a vulture. The cook told his boss. They are the unluckies, my spies informing me about everything related to my business. You have nothing to be afraid of, Mr. 3. But he was wrong. Sanji wasn't Galdino. The otter attacked the leg fighter with his claws, but the fighting cook kicked him at the wall with so much force, the mammal died instantly. Because of her partner's death and an outsider infiltrating Baroque works. The bird pulled out 2 machine guns strapped to her back and started shooting at the imposter. The blonde dodged every single bullet and snapped her neck, killing her effectively. Mr. 0's voice came from the den mushi again. What was that? He angrily demanded, slamming his fist against his table. Oh, the straw hat came for me again. Apparently, he survived and wanted revenge, so he came here to kill me, but now he's dead for sure. Sanji lied again. Crocodile was not pleased to hear this. So you failed your mission and lied to me? You just sealed your death sentence, Mr. 3. You already know failure is not an option, but lying to me? I'm going to go ahead. I think it'll fit nicely in my collection. With that, the Shichibukai ended the conversation. Sanji picked up the eternal pose and left the house in order to find his nakama and tell them about it. Present timeline. And that's how I got here. The cook finished his sentence. You talked with Crocodile? The Alabastan exclaimed in disbelief. Yep, he didn't sound like a nice guy, he simply said. We have to go to Alabasta. The blue-haired was acting like she was stung by a scorpion, hectic and rushed. Her nakama and friend, Nami, tried to calm her down. Easy, we can't reach Alabasta in one moment to the next. We have the eternal pose, so let's leave already, she continued. The navigator sighed. Fine, we're leaving now. On the ship, there were lots of animals stuffed into one big pile. It turned out Dory and Brogy gave them to their new human friends as a parting gift. Gegya. We've seen your battle together after ours finished. You did pretty good for humans, especially you, Straw Hat, Dory complimented. Thanks Dory, but I don't think I'll ever be as strong as you, Luffy commented back. Gababa, you don't need to be as strong as us, you're not giants. Brogy laughed. But still, you are our friends and always welcome in Elbaf. I want to go to Elbaf once I'm stronger. Usopp beamed, stars in his eyes. Gegya, that's the spirit my boy. The Straw Hats lifted their anchor. I think this is our goodbye. The captain spoke with a hint of sadness in his voice. Gababa, we wish you a happy journey on the Grand Line. I have the feeling you'll be famous one day. Goodbye, everyone exclaimed, bidding farewell to the giants. Suddenly, after moving away from the prehistoric island a bit, a titan-sized red and white goldfish emerged from the water, scaring the pirates greatly. He looked like he was about to eat them for lunch. That's the island eater, the long-bearded giant angrily exclaimed. He's the main reason ships leaving this island never reach their destination, the Viking added. Everyone on board except Luffy screamed, fearing for their lives. We need to save them, ready Brogy? Dory said, lifting his sword. I'm always ready, Brogy answered, lifting his battle axe. Hikoku. The two giants shouted the attack name at the same time, just like they threw their weapons at the savage fish at the same time. After the hit, the monster ceased to live, due to the fact he was cut in half. Sanji, I want a big piece of that fish, the occasionally childish captain exclaimed, getting a fork and a knife. You can't eat that, idiot. How is only a small piece of that humongous monster fit on this small ship? Besides, we already have meat thanks to the giants enough for 6 months, but knowing you, you'd eat that in 6 days. The blonde yelled at the black-haired with sharp teeth, giving him a bump. Guys, Nami began, holding her head. Sorry for interrupting you, but I'm feeling a little sick. What's wrong Nami-san? Sanji asked, speeding towards her like a flash. Everything feels so hot, and she answered, before passing out. Her head was as red as a matador's flag. Nami, Vivi exclaimed, kneeling down next to her. We're changing our direction. Luffy ordered. We need to find medical help for Navi as fast as possible. Usopp looked at the log pose. The next island is Drum Island, he informed his crew. Zoro ran to the steering wheel. I'm taking over, where do we have to go? For the first time, he was really concerned for his nakama. He might have hated her money-loving attitude, but she was his crewmate and like family for him. Oh Nami-san, please become healthy soon, Sanji begged, crying. In situations like this he'd never act like he normally does around ladies. He had a functioning brain after all. Chopper, please save Nami, I know you can do this. Chapter 12, The Misunderstood Someone. The Straw Hats sailed towards Drum. They were in a hurry and had a bad mood. Who wouldn't be if one of their nakama was deadly sick? Drum was a winter island, an island where it's constantly winter. But not only the island itself is cold, the area around it is freezing cold too. Sometimes, the water around Drum freezes, just like this time, when the Straw Hats encountered said phenomenon. A clown-like man with green-blue-white clothing was standing on the ice. He had a bag of arrows strapped on his back, and proceeded to shoot one of them in the air, its tip engulfed in fire. Listen, pirates, you are crossing the path of King Wobble. Your Majesty will come out and decide about your fate, he declared, jumping on top of a huge pirate submarine which emerged from below the ice, surprising the Straw Hats greatly. King Wobble, who was the captain of the pirate submarine, walked on to going merry with some of his many henchmen, who subsequently held everybody on deck at gunpoint. He was a short, overweight man with dark purple hair and a cylinder-shaped metal jaw. His clothing consisted of metal-plated armor and a hooded cape made out of white waki fur. Wobble, you coward, I cannot express how much I detest you, you cowardly, useless, shitty, terrible excuse of a ruler, Luffy thought. Mahahahaha. Are you really a pirate crew? You consist of only 4 people. Wobble spoke up, chewing his meat on a sword. Yeah, problem with that? The kid dressed in red asked, his voice defined by aggression. One of Waipol's soldiers pressed his gun against the black-haired's forehead. Silence. Nobody talks to Wobble-sama like that, he snapped. Easy. The former king of Drum calmed his follower down. I didn't come here to kill. The glutton, who ate his sword after the meat due to his Baku powers, turned to the Straw Hat. Do you have an eternal pose to Drum? I'm in need of one, he asked, licking metal particles off his metal snout. No, we don't have an eternal pose, the 17-year-old answered, crossing his arms. His message was clear. Get the hell out of my ship. Mahahahaha. If that's the case, then I'll take your ship and treasures, the metal man proclaimed. You won't take shit. The pirate captain was fuming. First he steps on our ship and holds us hostage. Then he wants to take our ship and treasures. Heck no, I'm gonna teach him some manners. What was that? The purple-haired spat. ordering his men to load their rifles. "Ooh, I'm hungry." His expression changed from angry obnoxious man to goofy big eater. The ex-royal walked over to the railing and ripped out a big chunk of it with his humongous mouth. "Hey, stop eating our ship," the teen exclaimed, punching the soldiers around him. "That's it, open fire," a higher-ranking soldier yelled, shooting at the Straw Hat Pirates. To his misfortune, the power levels of their enemies were way stronger than their own. He and his fellow followers of Wapol were slashed, kicked, punched and shot to a bloody mess. "Oi Wapol," Luffy shouted, getting the cruel devil fruit user's attention. "Don't eat our ship. Gomu Gomu no pistol." The king of the blicking pirates was sent flying, into the ocean to be exact. His subordinates were too frightened to attack the small crew in retaliation. A hairy black-haired man with an afro on his head, an afro on each of his hands, and 3 small afros on his beard, Kuromarimo, swore revenge on the pirates before ordering Wapol's army to rescue their king. After that incident, the Straw Hats continued in their destination. "We're there," Usopp reported to his captain. "Luffy, we're at Drum Island." Drum Island was a snowy, windy, and mountainous island where everything was cold. The weather there was so cold, not even sakura trees could bloom. The Straw Hats wanted to get off in a small bay, but were halted by a big group of armed villagers, standing on Drum Island. "Oi, what's the meaning of this?" the rubber man angrily exclaimed. "This means you're not welcome, Pirate S. Now leave, before we take action against you," one villager shouted. "But we need a doctor. Our nakama is sick," the sniper tried to explain. "We won't fall for that trick again, return immediately." A shot came out of the villager's pistol and it barely missed Sanji. "Oi," the latter was about to jump, but Vivi held him back. Flinching because of the cook's reaction, the man pulled the trigger another time due to reflex. Before the bullet could hit the princess, Luffy stepped in using Soru. He was moving so fast, not even Usopp or Zoro were able to see him. It looked like he, the villager of Drum, missed and shot at the same spot again. "Try that one more time and you'll die." The people of Drum shivered first, then readied their guns. A battle was about to start until Vivi intervened. She kneeled down to the citizens of Drum, making them lower their weapons. "Okay, we will leave if you want, but please, save our nakama. She's extremely sick and can't be cured by us. We'll do whatever you want if you get us a doctor, I'm begging you." The rest of the Straw Hats followed her example. "Please, get us a doctor. We won't do anything to you." One man, appearing to be the leader of the crowd, decided to give in. "Fine, follow me. I'll lead you to our village." Some of his fellow Drum Islanders questioned him. "Is that the right thing? They're pirates, Dalton. You know what those people did to us." "I think it is the right thing. They are not like the ones we've faced. Besides, they need us, and I doubt that they'll betray us if one of them dies as a consequence." The man called Dalton said. "By the way," he turned to the pirates, "I'm Dalton." On their way to the village, the Straw Hats had questions to ask. Their captain and their temporary member acted as the voice of the crew. "Dalton-san, what was with your hostility?" the brunette asked, trailing behind Dalton. He was tall, had a muscular build, wore green clothes, and had a square-shaped face. "We are acting hostile against pirates for a reason. A year ago, a pirate crew attacked our island and killed 1/3 of the population," he explained, turning his head towards the Alabaston. "Oh, that's sad," she murmured, looking down. "But some people think it was a good thing." The adult continued. "Because of that attack, our former cruel and cowardly king fled immediately without even thinking of fighting back. Our home has suffered horribly under Wapol." "Wapol?" the son of Dragon repeated, getting Dalton's attention. "That fat metal man?" "Yes, Drum's former king Wapol. Don't tell me you've met him." "Oh, we've met him," the future pirate king told him. "He and his soldiers attacked our ship and asked us if we had an eternal pose to Drum Island. After we told him we didn't have one, he tried to eat our ship. Then I sent him flying into the ocean. He deserved that." The people of Drum dropped their jaws. "You sent Wapol flying?" Suddenly, their sympathy for the Straw Hat Pirates increased to a higher level. Dalton clapped his hands. "An enemy of Wapol is a friend of mine. Sorry for our initial hostility. I'll make up for it by telling you the way to the island's only doctor, but I gotta tell you, she's a witch." "A witch?" the Straw Hats asked. "This sure is a weird country," Sanji, who was carrying Signami, remarked. To the pirates' surprise, a big walking bear came walking towards the group from ahead. A bear? Everyone, play dead," Usopp screamed, dropping himself on the ground. "Calm down," the man in green reassured him. "That's a hiking bear, he's harmless. The only thing you have to do is to greet him, otherwise he'll be pissed off." With that, everyone bowed before the tall light gray bear except Usopp, who was lying on the ground pretending to be dead, secretly ashamed. When the group arrived in Bighorn, the ways of the pirates and the citizens of Drum parted. "Keep an eye on the pirates and call us if you need us," some villagers said to Dalton before going home. "The country's armed forces," the princess spoke. "No, they're civilians." The square-faced man explained. We are looking after ourselves since Wapple betrayed us. Oh, Dalton-kun. I'm looking forward to the election in 2 days. Everyone says, they're going to vote for you. An elderly man stated, approaching the two. You shouldn't, not for someone like me. I am a man of too many sins. Dalton didn't want to become the new king. He had guilt feelings. Vivi curiously looked at him. What did he do wrong? I don't understand. Sometime later in Dalton's house, Nami was lying in his bed. How bad is her condition? He asked. Nami-san has a fever of 42 degrees. It has been rising for a few days, and we still don't know how to treat it. The blue-haired answered, concerning Dalton. If it rises higher, she'll surely die. And that's why we need a doctor as fast as possible. So where is that witch you're talking about? Sanji snapped at him. Dalton decided to keep his calm. You see that mountain? He spoke, pointing at the window. She lives in the castle on that mountain. And how do we get there? The temporary pirate asked. He stammered, you either climb the mountain or fly there. What? The blonde cook exclaimed. How are we supposed to climb up there with a fragile deadly ill person, or better yet, fly? Luffy and Usopp were listening from outside the window. Previously, they explored the snowy village and ate a thing or two. The captain already had an idea on how to get to Dr. Kureiha's castle. I must apologize. Dalton admitted. I should have known you can't fly. But somehow, the witch Dr. Kureiha can. Sometimes at night, people see her riding her sleigh pulled by a strange creature down an upper mountain in the air. It's crazy and I can't explain it. So if we can't go up there, can we summon her to us? Vivi wanted to know. No, I'm afraid you can't. The man in green told her, shaking his head. Despite being the only doctor of our island, she only comes down of her own will. What kind of doctor is that? Sanji angrily called. If that witch is the reason Nami-san dies, I'm gonna kill her, woman or not. Well, she'd no doubt a good doctor, but she's a strange old woman who has almost lived for 140 years. He explained. I don't know what's with her, she's very eccentric. Oh. The Alabastan muttered, sadness and despair in her eyes. Then there's low chance Nami-san will survive. The Straw Hat finally entered the house. Oi, don't say that, he ordered, his upper face not visible due to the shadow of his straw hat. I'm going to get her to that castle. Have you lost it? Do you realize how cold it is outside? Nami-san could die? The blonde shouted at his captain, who shouted back. Nami will die if we wait. If you want to save her as much as I do, then come help me with carrying her to that doctor. Sanji froze. He had a point. Okay. The leg fighter mumbled. I'm coming with you. His captain turned to Vivi and Usopp. Vivi, Usopp, I want you to look for that doctor in another village. I mean, there has to be another village than just Bighorn. Dalton confirmed this. Yes, there are 3 other villages, Cocoweed, Yasta and Robel. Perhaps she's in one of those villages right now. Luffy sighed. Let's get going guys, we've got a nakama to save. With that, the Straw Hats separated. Beware, there are dangerous lapons in the mountains. The square-faced man yelled after Luffy and Sanji. I wish you success in saving your nakama. Zoro, who stayed back on Merry with Karoo when the others left, went training into the woods. When he was walking on a road covered in snow after finishing his training, he encountered a sleigh pulled by a reindeer in which a very old woman was sitting. Oi old lady, can you tell me how I get back to the coast? The old lady had a devilish grin on her face. What did you call me? Old lady, WH, the green-haired answered, shrugging before suddenly sent flying by a fist. Don't call me old lady, I'm still in my 130 feet s. He didn't know that this woman was very sensible when it came to her age, so unfortunately, he had to learn this the hard way. When the swordsman landed on a pillow of snow, he decided to kill time and get warm with another training session. With Nami on his back, Luffy made his way to Drum Castle with Sanji. They were talking about their favorite ginger and some woman-related stuff, while continuously bothered by a Lapon child. The white rabbit with red eyes and razor-sharp teeth tried to bite the 2, 3. But the running duo effortlessly dodged the mammal and talked to each other at the same time. When Sanji finally had enough of it, he kicked the carnivore into a tree. Piss off, or I'm going to make roasted hair legs out of you. 30 seconds later, after the little killer rabbit recovered, a pack of angry adult Lapons, each of them as big as an ice bear, blocked the way of the black-haired and blonde with standing on top of a big cliff out of snow and ice. Their leader, who had a scar on his face, had his child hugging his back, still visible on his shoulder. The 17-year-old didn't know what to do. He'd put the life of his navigator in danger if he fought, even though he was much stronger than before. Sanji, what are we doing now, should we fight them? His cook lit up a cigarette. No, he declared with a stern voice. Promise me not to fight, Luffy, we can't risk Nami-san's life. Understand. The young pirate replied with the same tone. You'll do the fighting. R-A-A-A-A-A-A-H. One Lapon attempted pouncing on the fighting cook, but the latter's reactions were a lot faster than a heavy biased attack. Flanche shoot. The attacking Lapon got kicked into the stomach. The blow was so hard, the Lapon, flew into another Lapon. Their leader was not happy about this. He ordered his fellow killer rabbits to attack the Straw Hats, but the leg fighter kicked them right back to the Alpha Lapon with a combo of black leg style attacks. Furious about their defeat, the polar bear-sized rabbits started to jump up and down on their cliff. "What are they doing, Sanji?" Luffy asked. Sanji's eyes widened and his cigarette dropped out of his mouth. They want to. Oh no, they want to trigger an avalanche. An avalanche was not what the teenager expected. If Nami was caught in an avalanche, she'd be killed by it. He had an idea on how to prevent his nakama's death, but wasn't sure if his fighting cook could keep up with him. "Sanji," the boy spoke, "I want you to jump and kick in the air as fast and powerful as possible." "And why should I do that?" the blonde questioned, staring doubtfully at his captain. "Training and get ourselves to safety." The black-haired simply answered. "Look at me and do the same thing, understand, Geppo?" The 17-year-old Rokushiki master basically walked into the air with big steps, expecting his nakama to do the same. Most other people would have failed with Sanji's state of progress, but the cook had one big advantage: his exceptional legs. He walked into the air next to his captain and trainer directly after the avalanche occurred, who then complimented the leg master. "Hey Sanji, you're a natural. Now that you have mastered Geppo, Rankyaku training will begin soon." "Hey," the Vinsmoke let out, almost laughing. "Geppo sounds as shitty as Roronoa. I'll call it Skywalk." "Even better," Luffy called, smiling widely. "Now we can get faster to the witch." 5 minutes earlier, Usopp and Vivi weren't happy. After they finally reached Cocoa Weed, they found out from a child that Dr. Kureha had already left after healing him. His father told them she left for Gyasta, another village. Wanting to help Nami, the two made their way back to the road they traveled on. About 4 minutes later, they reached the street sign leading to Gyasta. "I hope we don't have to walk that far this time," the black-haired muttered. "I hope we find her this time," the blue-haired retorted, giving her friend a tiny, "Yet know what happens to Nami-san if she stays without treatment for another day. Walking should be your last worry." A little later, they were hit by a small fraction of the original big avalanche. The Alabastan princess woke up after a small blackout. Crap, that hurt. She managed to stand up, and to her shock, Usopp was gone. After focusing with her eyes, the girl discovered a long nose pointing out of a thick layer of snow. "Usopp-san." She pushed away lots of snow off the liar's face and body, pulling him out of the white substance right after. "Usopp-san, wake up." Vivi, don't wake me up. I'm on a field of flowers. I see Zoro swimming in the river," he mumbled in his sleep to death. Vivi slapped the hell out of the dying coward's face. He was talking stuff he'd see before dying. "Usopp-san, you're close to reaching the other world. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up." Sometime later, Usopp woke up, his face swollen up so much someone would think he got stung by 50,000 bees. "Thank you Vivi for waking me up." "Does my face look swollen?" She decided not to answer. Just a few meters away, a green-haired man rose up from the snow. He was almost naked, his current clothing only consisted of his pants. I was swimming in a river." Zoro-san." The brunette shook her head. "Why the fuck are you almost naked?" "I went training in the woods, then I encountered an old hag who was too sensible about her age. She sent me flying after one hell of a punch into the place I am right now. Then I decided to train again. Suddenly, an avalanche caught me off guard and buried me. Sometime later I woke up from my dream and then I saw you guys." The swordsman explained, his hands and cheeks red from the cold. Maybe Nami got sick from hanging around with dumb people, the royal thought. Zoro got a closer look at Usopp. The sometimes meat-headed mosshead noticed the sniper's swollen face and burst out in laughter. "What's so funny?" Together, the three returned to Bighorn to treat their injuries before heading to Gyasta, where they found two groups of armed men glaring at each other and a bullman lying on the ground in the middle of them with 3 arrows in his chest. The 16-year-old girl recognized the bullman by his clothes. "D. Dalton-san?" 20 minutes earlier, a severely injured man covered in blood walked as fast as he could to Bighorn. His whole body was hurting and he was in need of help. Upon arrival, the brown-haired man looked for Dalton-san. Dalton noticed this and ran over to see the Drum Islander. "What happened to you? Weren't you on guard?" The man was panting heavily. "They had killed everyone except me, Dalton-san. Wapple is coming back." With that, he collapsed in Dalton's arms. The latter's eyes were wide open, as well as the eyes of the bystanders. Wapple was coming back to reclaim his throne and rule as a tyrant again. The worst nightmare of the people of Drum came true. Wapple was coming back. "Everyone," the bullman demanded for attention. "Get your weapons, we're gonna drive Wapple off our home once and for all." Every bystander ran home to get their weapons and inform others to get theirs too. Wapple coming back was serious business. Shortly after, the gluttonous man set foot on Bighorn. Mahahahaha. Your king is back. Dalton lifted his gaze towards his former king and transformed into his bison hybrid form. He received this power from the Ushi no Mi model, bison, Wapol. The metal man and his loyal followers turned to Dalton. Mahahahaha. If that's not Dalton, my ex-servant, he said, crazily laughing. Shut up. Dalton pulled out his spade and slashed at Wapol, giving him a big cut in his torso with lots of blood coming out. Ah, I'm injured, the ex-king screamed in pain. Call the ISSHI 20 best doctors of drum, Chess ordered, holding his head with his hands, saddened about his master's injury. The ISSHI 20 did a quick surgery on Wapol, healing him almost instantly. The patient then snapped at his former loyal subordinate. What was that for? You even ask? The bison hybrid furiously exclaimed. You preserved the best 20 doctors of your kingdom entirely for yourself and either banished or killed almost every other doctor from Drum Island. Now we only have one doctor, and we were formerly known as the island with the best doctors. Not only that, when the Blackbeard pirates attacked, you fled immediately without even trying to fight back. For that reason, you're the worst king imaginable, and I will do everything to kill you, even if it means death for me myself. Wapol just laughed at the kind man's speech. Yes, I preserved the 20 best doctors all for myself. If a simple peasant of a citizen becomes sick, he could ask me, the great Wapol, to help him or his family. Depending on my mood and the level of his submissiveness, I would send all of ISSHI 20 to help him or his family. I did that so no one opposes my reign, he told everyone. This was the last straw. Dalton attempted to kill the obnoxious man after jumping at him, but the clown Chess stopped him by pointing his bow loaded with 3 arrows at a mob of angry armed civilians approaching the tyrant. Dalton-san, we're going to help you. The bison man placed himself in front of the mob. Don't, why would you kill your own people? Ha 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 ha, Chess unscrupulously laughed. Your kindness was always your weakness, Dalton. He shot the arrows at Dalton, who fell on the ground after his chest got pierced by 3 sharp arrows. Mahahahaha, that's what you deserve, Dalton. The heartless ex-royal snickered. Men, stay here and watch for dangerous individuals approaching. Chess, Kuromarimo and I will pay a visit to my old castle. After laughing one more time, Wapol and his henchmen began walking to Drum Castle. Present timeline. Dalton-san, Vivi didn't hesitate and raced to the injured. She noted the arrows in his chest. Can anybody tell me what happened? The caring princess shouted at the villagers. He isn't dead, but heavily injured. He protected us from Chess arrows, one man informed. Ha 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 ha. The currently highest ranked in command of Wapol's battalion laughed. You're nothing without Dalton, how pathetic. Before anyone could notice, Zoro punched him in the head and knocked him out. The reason for that was his coat. After putting on the coat, the swordsman sighed from euphoria. He was no longer feeling cold. Ah, thanks for the coat, how warm. The remaining soldiers of Wapol's army got mad at this. Kill him now, they yelled at the same time, but were silenced by a few slashes to their bodies. Ha, what a bunch of weaklings, the green-haired scoffed with his all-known mean-looking grin. Yay, you saved us, the townspeople exclaimed. After another hero-like action against their former evil king, the people of Drum, mostly from Bighorn, started liking the Straw Hats. Everyone, this isn't the right time to celebrate, we need to help Dalton-san, the Alabastan interrupted, demanding for attention. You're right, a bearded man spoke, he needs medical support. Everyone helped carrying the bullman into his home. His state was nowhere near as critical as Nami's, so he was able to be treated at home. Wapol, Chess, Kuromarimo, I'm going to make you pay, believe it. 2 people were living inside Drum Castle, an old woman over the age of 130, who was the only doctor of Drum, Dr. Kureha, and a 15-year-old reindeer. The strange one of them was not the doctor who lived way longer than most humans would. The strange one was her apprentice, a reindeer who had eaten the Hito no Mi at a very young age, Tony Chopper. He gained the ability to think and talk like a human. After the consumption of his zone devil fruit, he was deemed too different by his fellow reindeers and then disowned. Following this event, he has lived a sad life until becoming an apprentice of the witch Dr. Kureha. Brid possessed a good nose, which was colored blue. He was able to smell a person far away, even in snow. Dr. Kureha, I'm smelling something Orside, Chopper reported. His nature was nervous yet energetic. Kureha grunted, then go outside and tell me who it is. Chopper sped outside. The devil fruit user was born faster than a human. He still was, after becoming human-like. After looking down the mountain, where he smelled the humans, he stared at them in disbelief. The poor reindeer boy who had seen many horrible things, yet hadn't seen much of the world, saw, of all things, flying humans. He then proceeded to scream. Chopper, what is it? The 139-year-old called after opening the door. I see humans, flying humans. Believing that her student had hallucinations, she rushed to Chopper. What he said wasn't wrong. 2 humans were walking in the air, which was like flying. What? Meanwhile, Luffy and Sanji saw 2 figures standing in front of their destination. An incredibly old lady and a toddler-sized reindeer human hybrid with light brown fur wearing a pink hat and purplish maroon shorts. Chopper. Oi! The blonde yelled. Are you the witch doctor everyone's talking about? Yes, that's me. The witch confirmed. What do you want from me? The Geppo Skywalk users were wheezing after their strenuous way to the castle. Please, save my nakama. She's deadly sick, the Straw Hat asked her. Yes, Sanji begged, still wheezing. Please save Nami-san, otherwise she'll die. Kurei had thought out loud, her chin resting in her hand. What do I get for it? Whaat? You witch. Our nakama is dying and why? The pirate cook furiously shouted, but the old woman cut him off. It was a joke, I accept. And what did you call me, brat? She roared, kicking him off the mountain with her powerful legs. Luckily for him, the 19-year-old managed to control the situation and escaped death by falling, using Skywalk. Luffy sighed in relief. So you are going to heal Nami? He beamed, his eyes full of joy. You can count on it. Now come in, or else you'll get a cold. The very old doctor spoke, changing her expression again. She was a champion in changing her expression in the middle of a sentence, just like Jesus Burgess was a wrestling champion. Dr. Kureha was making tea for the fine visitors, while Chopper was treating the sick visitor. His teacher told him exactly how much of which medicine he must use. After some time, when the navigator's temperature got enormously lower, she gained consciousness and needed some time to adjust her eyes. Once that finished, she saw a weird reindeer-like small human. A sight not even the former, sanest person on Going Merry could explain. Who or what are you? Chopper flinched at that. Oh no, she saw me. What should I do now? Hide maybe. Some more seconds passed until the cowardly reindeer screamed and hid behind the wall next to the door in the next room, slowly showing his small head. That's not really hiding, the ginger said, frowning. And what exactly are you? Shut up human. The hybrid angrily shouted. How's your temperature? The brown-furred imitated his instructor's speaking habit quite well. It talked. Chopper screamed, before running into a storeroom, colliding with a shelf and causing a mess and making lots of noise. The human saw him as some kind of a monster, hearing him speak. This was what made the human zone go crazy. Don't make such noise, Chopper. Kureha walked into the room where the ginger's bed was. She, the old woman herself, put the orange-haired into that bed so her extraordinary student could treat her. You're awake. How fine. Nami frowned again. Who are you, old lady? She asked, her cheeks red from fever. The doctor drank a little out of her bottle of wine. I am Dr. Kureha, call me doctoring. And I'm not an old lady, I'm in my best age. This time, she twitched. Drums only doctor touched her forehead. Gulp gulp 38, 2 degrees. That kid did a good job there. The white-haired observed, drinking her alcohol. Girl, could you pull up your shirt? Complying, the teen pulled up her shirt. She was shocked as she saw purple spots on her belly. Aha, this was the cause. Mumbled. It's a bite from Kestia, a venomous insect extinct for over 100 years. They still live in prehistoric islands though. Tell me, were you walking on one of those islands with a bra? The young girl turned red from shame. Her doctor observed this and smirked. What's that? Seems like you're ashamed. Young people are so silly. Doctorine, the patient asked. What exactly is my disease? Kureha sat on the side of her bed. This disease, my foolish little girl, is called the 5-day disease, a disease lasting for 5 days, even without treatment. It causes high fever over 40 degrees, abnormal pain and many other things you don't want to have. You should be lucky for getting treated. Anybody would die in 5 days without treatment, she told, making the 18-year-old sigh in relief. Thank you for saving me, doctoring. The old doctor just laughed. Ha ha ha, good one. No, seriously, thank Chopper. He was the one who healed you, not me. So that Tanuki's name is Chopper. Nami murmured, trying to stand up. The old lady stopped her. Don't stand up now, kid. You need to fully recover before standing up. The 139-year-old scolded the navigator. If you need something, I'll bring it to you. It's fine, Dr. Kureha went back to the kitchen, opting to have a talk with the pirates. Your friend is going to get well soon, a day or 2 more, and she'll be able to go with you. Which doctor? Luffy began. Can we take Chopper with us as our doctor? Upon hearing that question, she spat out her newly made tea. What? Take Chopper with you? No, impossible. Why not? The pirate captain asked, refusing her refusal. He's a good doctor, and Sanji and I like him already. So why can't he be our new nakama? The tall white-haired sighed. Listen, I wouldn't mind if you take Chopper with you, but the thing is, it's virtually impossible. She spoke in a calm yet serious tone. And why's that? The 17-year-old further questioned. It's because he strongly dislikes humans. The Witch of Drum explained. When he was just a baby, he was ignored and treated badly by his reindeer tribe because of his blue nose. Things only got worse when he ate the Hito Hito no Amai and became human-like. After that, every single one of his tribe made it clear that they didn't want him, and then those bloody animals disowned him. He had no friends as a reindeer, so he tried to become friends with humans. To his bad luck, immediately after he was sighted by humans, they called him a yeti, an abominable snowman, or even worse, a monster. He was hated by reindeers for having a blue nose and being human-like, and hated by humans for not being a human and a monster. Poor little Chopper was hunted by humans until one day, when they severely injured him, almost killing the poor thing. An old friend of mine, Dr. Hylaluk, saw how bad Chopper's life was, so he took him in as his son, named him Tony Chopper, and looked after his wounds. Together, they had fun, and Chopper finally had a friend. But there wasn't going to be a happy ending for them. Hylaluk suffered from terminal, incurable disease. He truly believed blossoms from the sakura tree could heal every disease in the world, so he spent 30 years of his life on a sakura blossom medicament, to heal everything and everybody. One day, when Chopper's wounds fully healed, he threw him out. His reason was that he didn't want his adopted son to see him die. On one of our conversations, curious little Chopper secretly listened and found out the shocking truth. Believing that the skull on the Jolly Roger of Hylaluk was the symbol of healing everything, he, Chopper, made his way to find the amiadake, a mushroom capable of killing a grown human in 12 hours. Hylaluk initially welcomed his son hostilely, but after hearing what his beloved son did for him, he broke out was king at the time, set a trap for the two remaining doctors not under him, me and Hylaluk. He was so gullible and stubborn, refusing to not treat anyone sick. He consumed a soup made out of amiadake and told Chopper he was feeling well. Before leaving for Drum Castle, where that bastard called King lived prior to his escape, Hylaluk visited me one more time, telling me he had finally finished his all-curing medicine. Right before leaving, he asked me to fulfill his last two wishes, taking care of Chopper and looking after his precious medicament. When it was too late, Chopper found out he poisoned his father, and even worse, his dad was going to die due to the trap Wapol set for him. He ran for his father's life, but Hylaluk blew himself up in front of the king, dying. After that, Chopper was trying to kill Wapol. Luckily for him, Dalton, who changed after Hylaluk's speech and death, held him back, stating he'd die if he tried. For standing against his king, Dalton was thrown into prison and abused, until that coward fled. I took Chopper in as my apprentice, teaching him everything I knew as a doctor. Today, he can heal almost anything, but the question is, can you heal him? Poor Chopper still has scars in his heart that can only be healed by friends. If you help him find a place in the world, you can take him with you. Luffy's blood was boiling. In his previous life, he hadn't heard of his future doctor's backstory, but now, he was more than willing to help his future friend. Yosh, he exclaimed, slamming his fists on the table. After hearing this sad story, I will definitely heal his scars in his heart. I'm going to take him into my crew, where he will be my nakama. On my ship, he will have friends who deeply care for him. He will never feel lonely again. He saved my nakama's life, and I can only repay him by giving him a better life. Chopper is a great person, and I don't care if he's a human, reindeer, or whatever. He's a something, no, a somebody. Chopper, if you hear me, then be my friend. Meanwhile, in the storeroom next to the kitchen, a certain reindeer was crying his eyes out. In not even 1 minute, he has received more humanity than in his entire life. He walked back to the room where Nami was lying. Excuse me? The kind doctor nervously asked for attention. What is it? The ginger asked. What do you think of me? Chopper was expecting something about, you're a monster, or a talking reindeer. How bizarre, but to his surprise, the answer was extremely nice. I like you. You're a cute, lovable, nice, kind thing, who is the best doctor I've seen and saved my life. Thank you for that one, Chopper. Secretly, Chopper was super happy on the inside, but continued with his questions concerning himself. Do you think I'm a monster? A monster? No way. How could someone as good and nice as you be a monster? That's ridiculous, the human said, gently laughing. Your blue nose is cute by the way. After hearing her responding so good again, he blushed and danced like a freak, moving his limbs and body like an eel. Don't think that makes me happy, you jerk, even if it does make me happy. Ha 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 ha. The pirate laughed, amused by the blue-nosed's nervousness. Hey Chopper, do you want to go to the sea with us? You could be our doctor, and together with us, you would have lots of fun. The mammal glared at her, his eyes looking like the ones of a puppy. He then proceeded to cry and run away. Huh, did I say something wrong? I don't even know these people yet I want to be with them. They said so many good things about me and even offered me to become my friend. If only I had the guts to ask Dr. Kureha. Chopper thought, running to the hallway. When the reindeer with his good nose reached the hallway, he smelled something evil in the far. He knew this smell from 6 years ago, where his father died. Aware of the danger, he rushed to the kitchen to inform the others. Dr. Kureha. The soon-to-be pirate doctor yelled, informing everyone inside. I smell something bad. Wapol is here. Grr, the metal man grumbled. First this damn avalanche and then those pesky Lapons. Can't one have a peaceful walk to his castle? The former captain of the Blicking Pirates had arrived in front of his former residence and beamed from happiness until he discovered Hylaluk's flag on top of the highest tower. Kureha! The cruel purple-haired shouted. I have been informed you moved into my palace during my absence, you witch. And not only that, you changed the flag of the Drum Kingdom with a pirate flag. This will have consequences for you. I burned it. The current owner of Drum Castle spoke. She came out of the castle after opening the door, along with a reindeer and 2 young men. You do not deserve Drum Castle, brat. Your Drum Kingdom will never rise again. Kuromarimo's eyes opened wide up, as if he was seeing Drum Castle burn or his king die. King Wapol, look, the Straw Hats are also here. Huh? Wapol loudly growled out, remembering him being sent flying by the Straw Hat. Straw Hat, you're also going to pay, I promise it. Luffy silently walked over to his enemy, making everyone freeze. He was sure looking threatening and imposing. In a flash, the boy's facial expression changed into that of an enraged warrior, and he punched the obnoxious ex-ruler in his face, sending him straight to the edge of the mountain. Shut up already, asshole, you have no business here. King Wapol, his loyal followers exclaimed, running over to him. Their king received a bad bruise in his face. Grr, you're going to pay for what you did to his excellency, Chess called, angered by the 17-year-old's actions. Wait up, Chess. The Afro man spoke. Let me deal with them first. Aleki Marimo. He threw an afro from his hand at Sanji, who tried to kick it away. Just as the black-haired expected, his afro adhered onto the blonde's leg. What the hell is this? Sanji shouted in disbelief, trying to shake the hairball off. Static electricity. Correct. Kuromarimo said, smirking wickedly. My afros, which I'm proud of, don't come off that easily due to their static electricity. Take that off, it's disgusting. The leg fighter continued to yell, desperately trying to shake it off. The captain walked over to his cook, coated his arm in hockey and removed the hairball from his suit. Chopper, who had never seen such thing, asked what it is. Straw Hat, why did your arm turn black? This, Luffy explained, is the power of a monster. A bigger monster than you ever were, although you never were one. And for the future, call me Luffy. Chopper smiled at that. There are humans who are bigger monsters than me. I guess I'm not alone. Hey Chopper. Sanji spoke, getting the cute doctor's attention. Look at what a monster can do. Muton shot. He flipped into the air and delivered a powerful kick to Wapol's hairy henchman's midsection, knocking him out. Kuromarino. His clown partner yelled, getting furious about the attack. That's it, no one kicks the king's men and gets away with it. Perhaps a punishment with arrows can make you think straight. Checkmate. Chess lit his 3 arrows on fire and shot them at the blonde, who dodged them like nothing and hit his opponent with Muton shot again. Don't fight a cook of the sea, fool. At the same time, Wapol stood up again. He was beyond angry. Grr, I can't let you live any longer. Now that you made me really angry, I must show you my true Baku Baku powers. Wapol House. The devil fruit user slowly turned into a house with cannons. If someone eats the Baku Baku no mi, he or she is granted the power to eat anything except sea stone. After eating things, the user can mutate his or her whole body or parts of it into the exact same thing. Wapol, when he was in Bighorn, ate a house and a cannon. Whoa, Sanji exclaimed. He turned into a house. Yuck, said Luffy. When it comes to omnivores, he really takes the cake. Mahahahaha. The walking house laughed. I'm not done yet. Baku Baku picked up his henchmen who were screaming for their lives, and literally ate them. This was a disgusting thing to watch for everyone, seeing the terrible king even eat his own people. After he was finished with the process, his door opened and a strange creature came out. Chessmarimo, Drum's mightiest warrior, come out and crush your enemies. Wide-eyed, the defenders of Drum Castle gazed at the fusion of Chess and Kuromarino, now Chessmarimo. The fusion had 2 heads, 4 arms, and looked overall creepy. His new weapons were 4 axes, 4 hammers, Kuromarimo's afros and Chess, arrows. Ha 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 ha. Chessmarimo's voice sounded like both components' voices combined. Chopper, the rubberman spoke. Can you defeat this abomination? The hybrid yelled, staring at his future captain in disbelief. You want me to defeat that guy? You know, I want to see your powers. Being a reindeer-human hybrid should make you powerful, don't you think so too? The 17-year-old questioned, deliberately making the brown-furred feel confident in himself. You're right, the young doctor said. I'm going to defeat him with my rumble ball. Firmly believing he could beat 4-armed Chessmarimo, he swallowed a yellow sphere-shaped drug called rumble ball. With that, I can beat him in 3 minutes. 3 minutes? Wapol's product sneered. How can such a small and weak thing like you beat me in 3 minutes? Don't make me laugh. Chopper smirked. Oh, I'll show you small, jumping point. He grew to the size of a tall human, over 2 meters. This form of his was human-like, so his antlers disappeared. Chessmarimo laughed again. So you're taller now? Still pathetic? Yukidoke no ya Marimo. The fusion shot 4 burning arrows at the Yeti-like hybrid in human-like state, but the hybrid effortlessly dodged them, due to his superior jumping power. Ha? Two Head snickered. If arrows can't kill you, then hammers will do the job. Katakurii Marimo, Quattro Hammer. Arm point. Chopper exclaimed. He was still the same size as in jumping point, but his arm muscles increased in size and hardened. With these arms, he effortlessly destroyed Chessmarimo's hammers. Alright, the mightiest warrior of drum snarled, gritting his 64 teeth. You've had enough fun, it's time to get serious. Katakurii Marimo, Quattro Axe. Weipol's creation pulled out his strongest weapons, 4 large red axes. His next attack would be deadly for normal people. Happo Yukidore. Chessmarimo charged at the young doctor, swinging his 4 axes wildly. The future pirate knew he couldn't win with aimlessly hitting his enemy, so he reverted back to Brainpoint, to figure out the axe wielder's weakness, scope. Chopper scanned his opponent with his superior intelligence, his good eyes and his hooves held like a scope. Once he found out his opponent's weakness was his chin, the reindeer transformed to arm point again, preparing for his final attack. Kokute Roseo. The combination of Clown and Afro Man was sent flying in the air after a devastating hit to Afro Man's chin. The hit was so hard, Chopper's hooves left an imprint looking like a sakura petal. After the defeat of his best man, Wapol finally lost his mind. That was the last straw, I'm going to kill you all. The ex-king hysterically screamed, loading his cannons. At the same time, Luffy's patience with Wapol was wearing thin. In his current life, the Metal Man was the nastiest, most annoying person he's met. Abruptly, the future Pirate King activated his armament haki and made sure to hurt the evil man as much as possible. Gomu Gomu no Marunoko. The teen stretched his arms and grabbed Wapol, while he winded himself up like a bowgun. Then he kicked off from the ground and delivered the hated Big Eater a haki headbutt, sending him flying to the place the Straw Hat sent him in his former life. Good riddance, asshole. That was far less than you deserved for what you did to Chopper and your people. Dalton was watching everything from the drum ropeway. Sitting in his trolley, he witnessed little Chopper beating Chessmarimo, and Luffy finally removing Wapol from the island. The Bison Man now thought that not every pirate was evil. Beside him, there were Vivi, Usopp, Zoro and some other villagers. 15 minutes ago, after Zoro defeated Weipol's soldiers, the ISSHI-20 wanted to treat the injured zone user, but the townspeople stopped them from doing so. You're Weipol's doctors, they called, distrusting them. You're traitors to our country, stay away from Dalton. But people, one of them calmed the crowd down, we hated Wapol just like you. Yeah, another man said. We only joined him to improve our medical skills, so when he fell, we could heal our people. It's okay. Dalton spoke, coughing heavily. These people are not evil. They have suffered just as much as this, maybe even more. Please, accept them again. If Dalton says so, the villagers muttered, leaving the doctors alone. Okay. The oldest of the ISSHI-20 declared. Get Dalton-san to his house, we're going to operate him. After the successful operation of the Bullman, some villagers and the Straw Hats in Bighorn decided to go up the mountain with the drum ropeway. When Dalton and the other arrived at Drum Castle, the Devil Fruit user immediately approached the captain, the cook and the reindeer. Thank you very much, you saved our country. He spoke, expressing his gratitude. The villagers who came with Dalton and Usopp weren't so grateful. It's the abominable snowman, the monster of Drum Island, they shouted as they saw Chopper. Ah! The latter screamed, running around some trees. He was saddened again by the humans not tolerating him. Infuriated by the ungrateful people calling his soon-to-be nakama a monster, the black-haired distributed bumps to everyone calling him a monster. Be quiet, idiots. He's not a goddamn monster. Ever thought about how that poor thing must feel? Hearing the 17-year-old's words, Chopper looked at him from behind a tree. Only his head was visible. Also, Chopper got a closer look of Dalton's face. Despite not being in his bison form, the reindeer recognized him from 6 years earlier. He was the person who prevented him from unnecessarily getting killed by the man who was the reason his father died. Dalton also focused on Chopper's face. They hugged. So you've been fighting for 6 years, Dalton remarked, tears in his eyes. Flashback. Angry Chopper in Heavy Point was running at Wapol, who laughed about his father's death. Before the king could take action against the reindeer wanting to kill him, Dalton stepped in. He pinned the sad and super infuriated Chopper on the floor and warned him. Sorry if he laughed about his death, but if you can't beat me, then you can't beat him. It would be too much of a shame if you died a dog's death, so return and be strong. After that speech, the sensible reindeer-human hybrid had more tears in the eye than the bison hybrid. He turned around and never came back again while Wapol was reigning. Flashback end, and you are really stronger. The crying zones were left alone for some time. Following the events, the people of Drum threw a banquet for the Straw Hats, and Kureha had a big surprise for her apprentice. After Luffy finished eating countless boars, chicken, and even reindeer, which Chopper didn't mind since he hated Drum's ones, the pirate captain had a talk with the future king of the future Sakura Kingdom. What is going to happen with this island? The 80 million man asked. Dalton looked down. I didn't want to be king first, but now I realized this country needs change, lots of change. And even if I still didn't want to be king, the people would vote for me anyway, he muttered. If you think this country needs change, the Straw Hat spoke, then be the one who changes things. You seem like a good man to me. Yeah. Dalton laughed a bit. And you don't seem like a bad pirate for me. Actually, most of the island thinks so after they learned about your and your crew's doings. Speaking of pirates, the man who'll defeat Crocodile began. If you hang flags of my crew on your island, it would mean that this island is under my protection. Excuse me, but that's not possible. The man in green exclaimed. Drum Island is a member of the world government. They would not allow that. Besides, why would you do that for us? You only know us for a day, and we weren't nice to you at the beginning. Because, he said in a calm tone, this island is the birthplace of Chopper. I'm going to make him the doctor of my ship. And about the part with the world government, don't worry, they won't care anyway. Look at all the islands belonging to the Yonko, and I don't even demand anything in return from you. Dalton opened his mouth first, but gave in seconds later. That was a friendly offer of a man who actually did something good for them. Fine, Drum's under your protection now. Smiling, the future pirate king went back to the castle. Great, so now only one thing is missing. Inside, Luffy found Chopper and asked him the inevitable. Chopper, do you want to join my crew and our adventures? We need a great doctor like you. Moved to tears by this incredible offer, the reindeer remembered all the good things they did for him and said about him, so he accepted. Yes, I want to join you and be your friend. Yosh, the 17-year-old cheerfully exclaimed. So it's settled then. Welcome, Chopper, from now on, you're my doctor and nakama. But, his new nakama spoke in a low and sad voice, I don't think Dr. Kureha will let me go that easily, same for that girl. She said she wants to keep her in bed for 2 more days. Aha. Luffy nodded. I'll tell you what, how about we sneak out? Chopper was excited about this idea. Oh, this sounds fun, I'm in. He beamed with stars in his eyes. Okay, I'll tell the others, meet me at the main entrance. The black-haired called, running away. The rubber man gathered his crew at the castle's door, with their new doctor serving as a getaway vehicle. With Kureha being absent, helping the villagers set up her student's surprise, they had a good chance of getting away. But the old woman wasn't dumb, she figured the brats would try to get away without saying anything, so she went after them, throwing sharp weapons at the pirates. Chopper, she yelled, throwing an axe. You're staying here, understand? I'm not allowing you to become a pirate, you're my son? Ah! Run, Chopper! The Straw Hats screamed, sitting in a sleigh pulled by Chopper in Walk Point, his natural reindeer form. When they were too far away, the white-haired stopped throwing weapons at them. Oh Chopper, she quietly and happily mumbled to herself. You're growing up so fast. Dalton approached her from behind, curious about the surprise. Dr. Kureha, he asked, what exactly is the surprise? TZ, the old lady cackled. You're going to see soon enough. Despite her old age, Kureha had good eyesight. When she saw that the ship of the Straw Hats departed, she ordered the villagers to shoot out the surprise. On all of Drum's mountains, several cannons were aimed at the sky. The surprise was inside. After the oldest person on the island gave the permission, the men shot the surprise in the sky. But what was the surprise? Sakura blossom powder, lots of sakura blossom powder. Mixing with the snow, the entire winter island turned pink, and resembled a sakura tree. This was Kureha's way of saying goodbye. Meanwhile on Mary, the Straw Hats declared this as the most beautiful thing they have ever seen, especially Chopper, who broke out crying. Sakura blossoms were good memories of his deceased father, who made the reindeer cry, always. His nakama, who hated to see one of them cry, tried to cheer him up. You shouldn't cry. Luffy spoke. I'm sure he wants to see you happy and smiling right now, not sad and crying. Yeah. Zoro reassured him. I think this is a good memory where you should smile, like I do. I've heard your story and I was speechless. Sanji began. For your future I wish good memories outweigh bad ones. I haven't heard your story, but you talked about friends, right? From now on, you don't have to worry about 2 things. Friends and friendship, Nami promised him. Sorry for calling you a monster, that was dumb from me. Usopp apologized. Thinking about it, you're the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just like the others, I like you too, you adorable little thing. Vivi told. Kwa. Do you want to be my friend? Karoo asked. Chopper ceased to cry over Hylaluk's memories, but was now about to cry due to the friendly words of his nakama. It was too much for the emotional reindeer. Thank you for everything, my friends. Welcome, Chopper. Alabasta was forgotten for the night. Everything that mattered was the party thrown in honor of the Straw Hat Pirates' new doctor.